What is up, my beautiful friends? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we're doing kind of like a chill kind of video, if you know what I mean. I got my tea here. I'm gonna be drinking that. It looks weird, but I swear it's good. It's lemon and ginger tea. Today I figured I'd share some of my life advice that I have learned living on this planet for 25 years. I figured why not give it to you guys. I've seen this video on YouTube before where people just share some things that they have learned throughout their years on this planet, and so I figured today is my birthday and I should bestow some knowledge on you guys. So I think that this is all stuff that is important to me, that has helped me grow as a person and become just such a nice, sweet person that I am. So we're gonna go through 25 things that I've learned in the 25 years of living on this planet. That's been a long time. This is like a quarter life crisis a bit. So my first life advice would be to stop worrying. It is so hard for us to not worry. Like, as someone who is anxious, you worry about literally everything, but you gotta stop. Like, it's not helping anything, anyone, and it's not helping you. So one good piece of advice that I could give you is to stop worrying. It's not worth it. It's not worth the energy. I read a quote and it said, if it doesn't matter in the next 5 years, then don't spend more than 5 minutes worrying about it. So don't worry, guys. I know it's really hard, but really try and reduce that a little bit. Catch yourself when you're thinking about things that you're worrying about and ask yourself, is it gonna matter in 5 years? And if it doesn't, don't think about it for more than 5 minutes. That's it. Number two is to not let fear control your life. So we all have a beautiful little voice inside our head that likes to tell us everything wrong about everything. Like, literally everything. It tells us what we're doing wrong, what we look like, what everything is wrong about us, anything. It tells us all the bad stuff about ourselves. And that is really just made up thoughts of what society has taught us to think. So many times you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so fat. That's society telling you that you're fat. And then you get this little voice inside your head telling you that you're fat, you know, fear, fun. Anyways, my point is to not let that control your life. So if you want to go do something, do it. Ignore that little voice inside your head saying, don't do it, don't do it. That's not your instinct, that's your fear, and it's telling you so many things that is wrong about yourself, which aren't even true. So something that I've learned that has made such a change in my life is to not let that fear control me. I have always lived with that little voice inside my head, and I always thought that that voice inside my head was the truth, and that is not the actual truth. So do not let that little voice control you, okay? Ignore it. It's annoying. I know it gets frustrating a little bit, but really, guys, do not let fear control your life. You can do anything. We are on this planet to do anything. We can do whatever we want, so do not let that fear control you. Tip number 3 is to be independent before you commit to any relationship. So something about me that I learned is that I needed to learn to be by myself, be me, learn about myself, and just kind of be very independent before I got into a relationship. It made it so much better when I got into a relationship. I wasn't relying on anyone, I was relying on myself. And I do find when you get into relationships, you start relying on your partner a lot more. So please, if you're like that, try and find your independence, try and get your independence back. But I find it so important that you find your own independence before you get into a relationship, because then you're relying so much on the other person and it is not good in the end. It just doesn't work out. So if you're going into a relationship, make sure you have your independence, make sure you have yourself together. You don't have to have all your shit together, because who really has that all together? But really just make sure you have yourself and that you can rely on yourself. So if ever that person decides to leave your life, you're still independent. You don't need them in your life. You can still you do your thing kind of thing. So make sure you have your independence when going into a relationship. Tip number 4 is to never settle. So honestly, guys, please do not settle in a relationship. I hate when people settle. I find it very important in a relationship not to settle, because when you're settling for someone else's standards and not your own. And so I know as a lot of girls, we like to settle in relationships so that we have a bit of a security blanket, so that we have someone there, but that means you don't have your independence. So find your independence. But really, guys, make sure that you're not settling for someone that doesn't vibe with you, that isn't on the same standards as you, that isn't like your literal best friend. So please, guys, never settle. Find someone who actually works with you. Even if you have to be alone for many years and an old crazy cat lady, please don't settle, because you're gonna be so unhappy. Which leads me into my next point, and that is do what makes you happy, guys. Of course you wanna do things that lights up your soul, that makes you just so happy. So if you're kind of in a job that you don't like, or you're not doing an activity that you like, do something that makes you really happy. And I mean, if you wanna up and leave your job, find something that makes you happy. I'm totally for that. I mean, rock on, go ahead. It's like a dead-end job and you're miserable to go to work every single day. I 100% recommend leaving it. I was in a job where I was so miserable going into it. Every single day, I would just like want to cry. And then when I quit that job, even though I lost a lot of money and I was losing a lot of income, I am still so much more happier than I was at that job before. So please do things that make you happy, even if it just means a lower pay cut or whatever, because you're only on this planet for a short period of time and you don't want to spend that time being miserable. So please do things that make you happy. Point number 6 is jealousy in a relationship is very toxic. So I think that going into a relationship with jealousy is not a good thing at all. So I think that there should be no jealousy in a relationship. It creates such a toxic environment and it creates such negative energy, which why would you want to have negative energy in a relationship, right guys? And so you should be able to trust your partner 100%, guys. Like if you're committed to that person and you're not settling and you're independent, then you should definitely not be jealous. First of all, you're wasting a lot of energy on being jealous if there's nothing to be jealous about. And second of all, if there's something to be jealous about, then you should not be in that relationship. So being in a relationship, guys, try not to be jealous. Really eliminate that out of your system, because it's not worth the energy and it's not worth your time. It's really not something that's just worth anything. Jealousy is such a negative energy that you just don't need to have. So if you're in a relationship and you're jealous all the time, then maybe you should examine your relationship and think, well, why am I jealous and why can't I trust that person? And if it's something that you find that you cannot get over, I 100% recommend leaving that relationship. So drop the jealousy, guys. So tip number 7 is that meditation is actually a legit thing. Like, when I was growing up, I thought meditation was a huge joke. I was like, oh my god, there's the people, the monks, they just sit outside and they meditate all day and they don't do anything. Yeah, but meditation is so good for your mental health. It is ridiculous. Taking 5 to 10 minutes a day to just quiet your brain is like so world changing a little bit. It's like really nice. When I learned to meditate, I was like, damn, I actually enjoyed this. Many times before I tried to learn to meditate and I was never successful at it. I like legit would be so annoyed at myself because I couldn't get my brain to shut off, which is the most of us. A lot of us can't get it to shut off. But when you practice meditation and you start like, you know, learning more about yourself and everything, you get to slowly start shutting off that voice inside your head, and it makes a world of a difference when you actually start learning how to meditate. Meditating isn't going to be learned by sitting down for 5 minutes and trying to be quiet and trying it once. It is actually like something you have to practice. So if you're looking for something to just help with your mental health and chill out for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, meditation is legit. So tip number 8 is that mental health is very important. Many times mental health is often looked over and we tend to ignore it. I mean, for many years I ignored it, trust me, and it just put me in a worse spot. And so really guys, concentrate on your mental health. Really see how you're feeling, because if your mental health isn't good, nothing else in your life is good. And I am serious about that. So work on yourself, work on your mental health. And that also leads me into tip number 9. And if your mental health isn't good, go see a psychologist. So tip number 9 is that it's okay to see a psychologist. For many years, I thought seeing a psychologist was a bad thing. I thought that I was actually crazy and I needed to end up in like a psych ward kind of thing. But in the end, it's not actually that, guys. Seeing a psychologist is actually normal. I think every single person should see a psychologist. It is so good for your mental health and it's just so good for your soul overall. It's good to just vent, get your emotions out, get your feelings out, and to talk to someone who is just neutral, who can actually offer an outsider perspective. And you're not crazy if you go see a psychologist. And if anyone ever tells you that, they are crazy and they probably have shitty mental health. So if your mental health is struggling, I really recommend making it a top priority. And I really recommend going to see a psychologist. I know that Not everyone can afford a psychology session, but if you can find someone who is a bit cheaper or use someone's insurance, things like that, then I 100% recommend going to see a psychologist. Tip number 10 is kind of a random one, and that is that shit doesn't matter after high school. Like literally, nothing matters. When I was in high school, I thought everything was the world. I was like drama filled, everything. I thought high school was the end all, be all, whatever. You know what I mean? When you're in high school, all the drama that happens, all the things that happen, you think that like that is the end of the world kind of thing. But in the end, that doesn't really matter. Everything that happens after high school doesn't matter. You all move on with your lives. You all do your separate things. You all do your own thing. Now thinking about it, everything that I worried about in high school is really irrelevant now and does not matter. So if you're in high school right now and you think that things are happening and it's gonna be the end of the world, trust me, it's not. Just put your head down, get through those 4 or 5 years or however long you guys go to high school for, and legit just do your thing and get out of there and graduate and go live your life, because that's all that matters. Tip number 11 is to use foods to heal your body and not solely rely on medication. So I'm not saying do not use medication. I'm saying find foods, research about foods, learn about foods on how to heal your body, how to heal inflammation in your body. There's just so many ways that you can heal your body by using foods, because that is what helps our bodies, obviously. Nutrients, vitamins, things like that. Those are what's gonna help heal your body. I'm not saying to not completely cut out medication. Please, I'm not a doctor. But in all honesty, food can do so much for your body and make you so much healthier that if you start researching about food and learning that foods like fruits and vegetables are actually good for your body and that you can heal your body with fruits and vegetables. So I really recommend looking at foods, researching about foods, hearing about foods, or just eating your fruits and vegetables to heal your body so that you're not completely relying on medication. Because if you can use some natural product made from the earth, made for our bodies, instead of using something that has been made by chemicals, I'd rather go to something that is made from the earth first before having to go something that is made by chemicals, if you know what I mean. And that leads me into tip number 12, and that is to listen to your body. So over the years, I've ignored my body many times, especially doing sports. I tend to push through it, push through the pain, you know, all that jazz, and I didn't listen to my body, and I was getting in a lot of pain, and I actually pushed my body really far to the limits, to the point where I couldn't do many things. So if your body's in pain, really listen to it and try and figure it out. Don't keep pushing through it. Don't keep ignoring it. Your body is sending you signals like, hey bro, I need some help. Can you stop like damaging me? And so if your body's in pain or anything, whether it's like a physical injury or if you are eating something and it's not reacting well, then listen to your body, guys. Like, that is what's telling you something's wrong inside of you. You're not gonna have a healthy body if you just ignore the things your body is saying to you. Tip number 13 is that no matter the shittiest experience that you live through, learn to grow from them and do not let them weigh you down. So we are all going to go through crappy experiences that are not the best, but you cannot let those weigh you down. You cannot let those define you. You need to learn to grow from them. We can grow a lot from those experiences. Those are usually life lessons that we need to learn. And of course, we're always going to learn life lessons. Like, there's no way that we're not going to learn lessons throughout our life. So no matter the experience that you guys have, use that experience and grow from it. So if you have recently had an experience or something that, you know, affected you in your childhood, think about it. Think about what the message was that you guys got from it and grow from it. It will make you such a better human being if you grow from that experience rather than letting it suppress you. Tip number 14 is what people think of you is not actually the reality. So as I spoke before, a lot of times we have fear, and a lot of times people portray their fear on you, and that is not reality at all. That is not your reality. So whatever someone says to you, and if it's a negative opinion, that does not mean that it is true. If someone tells you that you're weird or anything, first of all, embrace it if you are weird. Second of all, that does not mean that is true. It is someone else's perception of you. They do not know who you are. You know who you are. And so whatever someone says about you, that is not the reality. You know who you are. You do your thing. And that is what reality is. and that's all that matters. Tip number 15 is to always take time and improve yourself. So no matter what, I think that we can all improve ourselves. There's always just room for growth, of course. And so whether that's learning something new or continuing to learn something, I really recommend just taking time to improve yourself. Simple and straightforward. Tip number 16 is to move your body. No matter what it is, whether it's weightlifting, yoga, dancing, I don't know, running around your apartment naked, I don't know, but just get your body moving. It is so good and healthy for your body, and it just makes you feel good. It also helps your mental health. So if your mental health is in the crapper, I really recommend just to get your body moving. You will feel so good, maybe a little sore, but good after you work out. And it's just good for your body. It gets those endorphins going. We all need that. And so guys, just get your body moving. You will feel so much better. Tip number 17 is that social media is not as real as you think. So there is a lot I have learned on social media and how fake it is and how it is just not a reality at all. Like, it really is not. So when you see your Instagram influencer or whatever, most of the times a lot of their bodies, like there's a lot of bodies out there that have been not necessarily photoshopped, but they have made their bodies to look that way, or they have edited the photo. We show our best sides of ourselves on social media, and I'm sure you've heard that before. Even I do, guys. I show like my happy, you know, go-lucky self on social media, which is okay, but do not let that completely revolve around your life. When you see people tripping in Bora Bora, doing all those fancy things in Hawaii, that is not necessarily the reality. And if you see all these like fancy pictures, well, most of the time, a lot of people literally just travel to a place for maybe a day or two, take about 20 different outfits there, and it looks like they stayed there for 2 weeks rather than 2 days. It's not reality, and it's not as special as you think it is. So really question next time you see a photo, be like, oh, that's nice and everything, but it doesn't mean that they have this crazy life and you have a boring life at all. Tip number 18 is a very important one to me, and one that has taken me many years to overcome, and I'm still overcoming it, and that is that you cannot control the future. Many times as an anxious person, I have tried to control the future. I've tried to control outcomes, and it's just not simply a reality. You cannot control the future. You have no idea what's gonna happen in the next 5 seconds from now, but I hope it's you liking this video. But in all honesty, guys, you cannot control the future. You cannot control what happens. You can only do what is in the moment. So whatever happens in that moment, you can control that, but you cannot control what is going to happen in the future. So just let it go. Trust me, a lot of worry will be let go. Like when you let go of your worry and you let go of not being able to control the future, it changes everything, guys. So next time you're in a situation or you're thinking about like ways that you have to try and control a situation, let it go, because you cannot control it. You cannot control how it works. It's just how life works. You can't control the future. We are not time travelers yet, so stop controlling the future. It just isn't gonna happen. Tip number 19 is to spend money on experiences and not things. There are so many things that I've had in my life that I probably do not even remember owning them, but I do remember traveling the world. I remember going to Italy, and I am so grateful to be able to spend money on that rather than just having all these fancy things around me, having the latest technology. I'd rather just spend money on things that just make me happy and make me live a life that I want to live. Because if you're constantly buying things that aren't gonna matter in a couple years, or things that are just things, then it's not really creating memories for you. Like this pot. I think in 20 years, I'm not gonna even remember that I bought a yellow pot, in all honesty. But I would remember taking a trip to like Honolulu kind of thing. You guys know what I'm trying to get at, is that I'd rather save up as much money as I can on experiences than spending on $20 cheap things that it's not gonna matter in the next 5 years. Tip number 20 is to respect yourself and to expect that back. So you wanna be able to respect yourself, love yourself, be that independent boss ass girl that you are, and you know, have your level of respect, and to expect that from anyone you interact with. So if somebody is not gonna respect you at your level of respect, then you just need to walk away, because it is so not worth it. So if you're in a relationship, or you have friends, or you have anyone in your life that does not show you the respect that you deserve, I suggest you walk away, because it's not worth it. You deserve the respect that you want, and by lowering your standards to someone else is not cool. You should never lower your standards to anyone else. Respect yourself and expect that back. Expect the exact same level, because if somebody does not respect you, then boy, bye, it is not worth it. Tip number 21 is something that not a lot of people realize, and that is to forgive and not hold grudges. Now, before you're like, excuse me, there have been many people in my life who have done really crappy things to me, and I totally was upset for that for many years. I actually held that on my chest for many years, being upset with someone for doing something so crappy to me. But in the end, holding that grudge and holding that energy is so not worth it. So I'm saying mentally, no matter how bad someone did you wrong, just forgive them mentally. I'm not saying you need to go up to that person and say, I forgive you. I mean, 100% you can go up to that person and say, I forgive you, but mentally you can also do it to yourself. You don't need to go up to that person and say, I forgive you. So you can actually just say to yourself, I forgive you, Bob, or whatever. And that takes such a weight off your shoulder, and it just takes the weight of the grudge off of you. And it just helps get rid of that negative energy that you've been holding onto for so many years or however long, and it just makes such a difference. Forgive inside your head if you need to, but do not hold grudges. Tip number 22 is that change can be good. I actually hate this one. I really am not a great person at change. Change is like really not good for me, especially if you're an anxious person. Change is like, no way, Jose kind of thing. In the end, I learned through my years that change can actually be a good thing. It can lead you to a whole different path of life. And if change comes to you, actually embrace it, okay? Just embrace it with open arms, because change can be a good thing, guys. Really, I know a lot of times we don't want to change. We want to stay secure in our own little routines and everything, but in the end, change can be such a good thing for you. Tip number 23 is that friends will come and go. So many times we have relationships, many times we'll have a boyfriend and they do come and go and that's whatever, but we don't learn that friends can come and go as well. I know friends are usually our like deep soul kind of people, but many times in our lives, friends, we all change, we all grow differently, we all, you know, go through different paths in life, and that's okay. So it's okay to have friends that leave your life, and it's okay to have friends that come and then they go kind of thing. If you're having a friend that's about to leave your life, let them go. It's okay. A new friend will come in, things will come in. It's just change is good, like I said before. So just remember that friends do come and go, but cherish the memories that you had with them. So tip number 24 is to be an active listener. So many times we just respond and we don't even think about what someone has said to us. We just quickly respond. So when you're having someone confide in you or someone talk to you or anything, take your time to actually listen to what they're saying and not just respond. Really think about it, take your time, listen to what they're saying, listen to their emotion, listen to how they're feeling, and then respond. Take time to respond. Do not quickly reply, because if you quickly reply, then you're not actually thinking about the situation and you're just kind of spewing whatever first comes to your mind, which is not always the right thing to say. And last but not least, tip number 25 is that you cannot please everyone, and that is okay. I have spent so much time and energy trying to please so many people around me. It is ridiculous. My whole life I've tried to make sure everyone is pleased, everyone is okay, and that is not okay. There's always going to be someone out there who does not vibe with you, who does not agree with you, and that's okay. So just remember that you cannot please everyone that you have in your life. You cannot please every single human being in the world. Not everyone loves peaches, if you know what I mean. Like, you can love peaches, but not everyone else will. So just remember, you cannot please everyone. There's so many people in this world. We all have different backgrounds, different views, different opinions, anything. You're not going to always vibe with anyone, and you're not going to be able to please every single person. So just remember that. You cannot please everyone. All right, guys, that was a long talk and that was a lot of things. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you did, let me know down below. And if you guys have one piece of advice that you could share with anyone right now, please comment it down below. I would love to hear back from you. And yes, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. And of course, guys, it is my birthday, so please subscribe if you're not already subscribed already. That would be the best. And yes, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Summer days burn me out, love just brings me down. Cold inside like winter leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting brown, baby, drink your night.